Hi, welcome to Africa Oil Week. I'm Malcolm Graham Wood from Malcy's blog, which I'm writing this week from Cape Town. I'm here at Africa Oil Week and I'm bumped into Gokul, who is in the capital markets, in fact, head of primary markets for the Middle East, Africa and India for the London Stock Exchange Group. So what brings you to Africa Oil Week?
Well, thank you, Malcolm. Well, in terms of oil and gas and hydrocarbons generally, it's a hugely important time in capital markets. Notwithstanding, Brent prices hovering around the $60 mark. Yesterday, we did have the launch of the largest. Potentially the largest IPO to date, that of Saudi Aramco, listing on the Tadawul for an offer size that could be anywhere in the region of $25 to $60 billion. So huge time in capital markets for oil and gas. Generally in Africa and our involvement with the oil industry, we've had three recent transactions of note. One of PetroTal late last year that raised capital, and then two introductions this year, that of Valora in Turkey and Valco. We're very, very big. Oil and gas is one of our top three sectors, 160 companies, $1.2 trillion.
So you go around the world representing the London Stock Exchange.
Yes.
And talking to these companies, trying to persuade them to quote in London and raise money in London as well. Yeah.
Yes, that's absolutely right, Malcolm. And I think our job is to try to be very early. In front of companies, sometimes before even advisors or private equity firms have gotten to them, because it's only when you're there early that you can drive certain exit or stock exchange listing strategies.
So how do you find these companies? That must be the million-dollar question, doesn't it?
Yes, so the way we staff ourselves is there are a bunch of us in London, and then the primary markets team is also spread across the globe. So I'm actually based in Dubai, and therefore the Middle East, you kind of get
absolutely.
that insight.
Yeah.
And frankly, how do you find these companies? Generally, the data sources and the community is quite rich in terms of you need to know when you got to go somewhere.
Yeah, and exploration, production stocks, service companies. Do you look at them all? Presumably, you look at other things, not just oil, do you? Or?
Yes, absolutely. So, our role in capital markets obviously is across all sectors. Focusing a little bit around Africa, probably our three most active countries are that of Nigeria, Egypt, and South Africa in recent times. And specifically this year, our largest two IPOs out of Africa have both been in the telecom space. One in telecoms infrastructure, that of Helios Towers, that raised nearly $350 million just about 3 weeks ago. That's trading up on IPO price. And that of Airtel Africa, which was in July, and that raised nearly $650 million. So telecoms and telecom infrastructure is huge for us from an Africa theme perspective.
So you have a number of hats to wear, and next week you might be Africa Telecoms Week, not Africa Oil Week.
That's absolutely right. In fact, I think in a couple of weeks' time, I'm in Nairobi and Lagos talking to a bunch of companies. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Gokul Mani, who is, as I said, from the London Stock Exchange Group, thank you so much for joining us here at Africa Oil Week and taking a bit of time to come and speak to us about where you're up to.
Thank you so much, Malcolm. Thank you for having me.
That's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.